play at least the same amount of games, at least give him a look. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. The fans are giving up, and there will be very few butts in the seats. If you put Shedeur in there, the butts will return. Thank you very much. Go Browns.
Shedeur will start this week. Obviously, number one job of a quarterback is to win. So excited to get that first win under his belt. And then next thing is improvement. And that's what young players do.
And Kevin basically said, I'm only focusing on this week. So I think that's important to note. In terms of what I think should happen, I think Shedeur should go out there and seize the moment every single week and not let them take him out of the lineup.
Breaking news coming out of Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders will be starting once again for the Browns next week. And this time, it's against the 49ers. Coach Kevin Stefanski has confirmed it. But there's more to this story than meets the eye. While it might seem like great news for the team, let's not kid ourselves. Stefanski never really wanted Shedeur Sanders to start. So how is this happening? The answer is simple. Jimmy Haslam. That's right. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam is going all in on Shedeur Sanders. It's clear now that he's the one pulling the strings behind the scenes, forcing Stefanski to start Sanders, even if the coach didn't agree. Stefanski may be publicly supporting the decision, but we all know who's really calling the shots here. Let's break it all down and see what's really going on with Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns.
I'm who they've been looking for. Appreciate it.
Shedeur Sanders' presence in the game against the Raiders was nothing short of electrifying. The energy in the stadium was off the charts, with fans filling the stands and Browns players fired up like never before. Everyone on the field seemed to perform at their best, all with one goal in mind: to help Shedeur succeed. And Jimmy Haslam was watching it all unfold. He saw the impact Sanders had on the team, the fans, and the overall atmosphere. Now, behind the scenes, Haslam is making sure to pull every string possible to keep Shedeur on the field. It's clear that this move isn't just about winning games. It's about what's best for the Cleveland franchise and the fans who are rallying around their new star. You might think that it was Stefanski's decision to start Shedeur Sanders, but let's set the record straight. In the post-game press conference, Stefanski didn't directly comment on the decision to start Sanders. Instead, he shifted the focus to Dillon coming out of protocol, almost hinting that he preferred Dillon to play. However, it's clear that Haslam has his own agenda. If Stefanski wants to keep his job, he has no choice but to follow through with Haslam's plans. And that's exactly what he did. But let's take a look at what Stefanski actually said earlier on.
Rookie quarterback to win his first start, so why couldn't you just say he's the starter going forward?
Yeah, because my focus is on today.
Jimmy Haslam made this decision after witnessing the incredible reaction from his players when Shedeur Sanders was on fire during the game. Myles Garrett, for one, was visibly pumped up every time Shedeur made a big play, especially when he launched that 66-yard pass right into the hands of the receiver. Garrett's reaction spoke volumes. He was in awe of his quarterback's arm and talent. Haslam saw this and took note of how it energized the team. Now he's doing everything in his power to keep that momentum going, ensuring Shedeur Sanders stays on the field to maintain that spark and team cohesion. Let's be real. That 57-yard pass from Shedeur Sanders to his wide receiver is one of the most unforgettable moments for the Browns quarterback this season. Sure, the receiver slipped and couldn't turn it into an immediate touchdown, but the throw itself was simply phenomenal. Sanders, while leaning to his right, surveyed the field and instinctively knew exactly where his receiver would be. With pinpoint accuracy, he unleashed the ball, hitting his target perfectly. Eventually, Quinshon Judkins caught the pass and took it into the end zone, turning a great play into a touchdown. This moment was a perfect example of Sanders' vision and arm strength, and it's exactly the kind of play Haslam wants to see as he continues to make sure Shedeur stays in the game. It was actually Jimmy Haslam who pushed Stefanski to start Shedeur Sanders in the first place, especially after Dillon's injury. A voicemail has surfaced on social media, where Haslam can be heard talking to someone, explaining that putting Sanders on the field would bring excitement back to the game. At that point, fans were boycotting games because Stefanski wasn't giving Sanders the chance to play. Haslam recognized the need for change and made sure to take action behind the scenes, ensuring that Shedeur Sanders would get his shot. It's clear now that Haslam was the driving force all along, pulling the strings to make sure Sanders played.
Play at least the same amount of games, at least give him a look. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. The fans are giving up, and there will be very few butts in the seats. If he puts Shedeur in there, the butts will return. Thank you very much. Go Browns.
Then, out of nowhere, the same guy who had been trying to avoid giving Sanders a chance suddenly came out and declared that Sanders was ready. Kevin Stefanski, after seeing the offense's performance with Sanders leading the charge, couldn't help but be impressed. He praised the offense, noting that they did an outstanding job with Sanders at the helm. This was a big deal, especially since Stefanski had stayed largely silent about Sanders all season. It marked a turning point, as he acknowledged the impact Sanders had on the team. Meanwhile, Sanders radiated confidence when speaking to the media. He admitted that, although he had just 1 week of practice with the first team, he knew he couldn't rely on anyone else to bail him out. Despite the limited preparation, he didn't let it become an excuse. Instead, Sanders kept his cool and executed the game plan flawlessly. Looking back on his performance, he confidently pointed out how well he had played, making it clear that he was more than ready to rise to the challenge and deliver when the team needed him most. Sanders wasn't done yet. He took a moment to address his critics, confidently pointing out how many had been hoping for his failure. But he made it clear that wasn't going to happen anytime soon. With a bold message, Sanders told the doubters to keep praying for his downfall, especially hoping for a fumble, but he assured them it wasn't going to come. His words were full of confidence, as he stood firm in his belief that his success wasn't a fluke. He's here to stay, and nothing will stop him from proving his worth on the field. He said all of this because he knew Haslam himself is having his back, so he needs not to be afraid of anyone.
That's how life is. You know, everybody's not in the best situation, you know, but it's no excuse. You got to go out there and perform. Like, there's no choice, there's no question. Nobody cares if this was 1 week of prep. Who cares? You know, so a lot of people want to see me fail, and that ain't going to happen. You know, it ain't going to happen.
It has become clear that the decision to start Sanders was never really Kevin Stefanski's call. While Stefanski may have initially resisted the idea, it was Jimmyhaslam who pushed him to start Shedeur against the Raiders. And now he's doing the same to ensure Sanders starts against the 49ers. Haslam, seeing the potential in Sanders and the excitement he brought to the team and fans alike, has made it clear that this is the way forward for the Cleveland Browns. Despite the initial hesitation from Stefanski, it's hard to argue with the results. Sanders not only met the expectations but delivered in a big way. From his poise on the field to his ability to make incredible throws under pressure, Sanders has proven that he's more than capable of leading this offense. His performance against the Raiders, including that jaw-dropping 57-yard pass, solidified his place as the starting quarterback. Sanders, with his confidence and calm demeanor, has shown that he's ready for the challenge, no matter the circumstances. He addressed his critics head-on, making it clear that their doubts wouldn't affect him. His belief in his own abilities, combined with the support from Haslam, has been a game-changer for the Browns. As we look ahead to the game against the 49ers, it's clear that Sanders is not just a temporary solution, but a long-term asset for this team. With Haslam backing him and Sanders proving his worth, the Browns have a bright future ahead. What started as a controversial decision has now turned into a defining moment for both the player and the franchise. Sanders is here to stay, and the best is yet to come. So, what do you all think about this situation? Do you believe Jimmyhaslam made the right call by forcing Stefanski to start Sanders? Or do you think it should have been Stefanski's decision from the start? How do you feel about Shedeur's performance? Did he prove that he's the real deal, or do you think it's still too early to tell? And with the 49ers coming up, do you think Sanders can keep this momentum going, or will the pressure finally get to him? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below and let's get the conversation going.